Hey, Angela here with a hips core pelvic floor quick session. You will need yoga blocks, you will need circular resistance bands, and possibly a blanket. We're going to start on our backs on the floor, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Right. Support your head with the block, arms by the sides. Inhale, sweep the arms up towards the ceiling and then overhead to the wall behind you. And then exhale, reach the arms up and bring them back down by the sides. And just do that a few times, just moving that shoulder joint, seeing the range of motion here, but also noticing if when you're reaching the arms overhead, the lower back is getting pulled away from the floor. Maybe you feel your rib cage getting pulled. Maybe you actually feel the weight shift around the pelvis and the sacrum. All right, the next time the arms are down, you're just gonna reach both arms straight up to the ceiling. Slip the shoulder blades off the floor and then move the arms in the direction of the knees. Now remember, this allows the front ribs to come down, and for some of you, it really allows you to anchor the back of the pelvis and the back ribs into the ground. We're gonna exhale, pull the right leg into the air, and right away, bring the left hand on the inside of that right thigh. Just do a little squeeze here. All right, so hand, thigh, pushing in towards one another, and see if you can't feel your left external oblique connecting to that right hip. And then put the right foot down. Exhale, you're gonna pick the left leg up, bring the right hand to the inside of the left leg, and again, do that squeeze there. Breathe in. Now we're working from the right external obliques to the left hip, and breathe out. Go ahead, put the left foot down, arms up. If they start to float towards the wall behind you, just think, reach them in the direction the knees are pointing. Exhale, this time pick the right leg up, but don't squeeze, right? Keep the hands off the legs, but see if you can recreate that hugging in action between the left hand and the right leg as you bring the left leg up to meet the right. And then exhale the right foot down, recreating that hugging in action with the right hand and left leg without touching. And then inhale the left foot down. Exhale, pull that left leg up, and then imagine squeezing the right hand and left leg together as you bring the right leg up to meet the left. Keep the right leg where it is as you exhale the left foot to the floor, and then inhale the right foot to the floor. All right, from here, hug both knees into the chest. Do a little bit of rock from side to side. If you want to continue that because you're like, I want more, you can continue that. All right, otherwise, just hold on to the right knee, making some circles with that right knee as you extend the left leg to the ground, and then switch sides. Pull the left knee in as you extend the right leg to the ground and make those circles with the left leg, small half circles, full circles, and then we'll hug both knees in, both knees in, and rock yourself up to all fours. So if you had a block under your head, you're gonna move that just forward and off to the side. Swing the legs around, coming into a tabletop position with the hands a little bit forward of the shoulders. Tuck the toes behind you, pull the hips back towards the heels. Come into that nice squat preparation pose, and then shift everything forward in space. And then again, shift everything back, sits bones spread apart. Feel like you're gonna drag the hands back to pull that chest forward. Right, a few more times, think if you can keep the rib cage stacked in line with the pelvis. By that I mean front ribs, front of the pelvis, back ribs, back of the pelvis. All right, and then a little bit of going to the side. So the next time you shift back, you can shift your hips over to the right, then you can shift your hips over to the left. If you want to make full circles or figure eights, you can do that. When you're ready to untuck the toes and adjust the hands under the shoulders for some cat and cow stretches, go for that. Right, just getting the spine to mobilize a bit. You can look over one shoulder. You can look over the other shoulder. Right, move your body in as many possible ways as you can in this position. And we're going to meet back in downward facing dog, setting the hands forward of the shoulders, tuck the toes, lift the knees, downward facing dog. Breathe in here and breathe out. You can have your legs straight or the knees bent, but push them out forward to lift up out of those shoulders. Feel like you're going to slide the hands apart, and then inhale forward to a plank pose. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. Just do that one more time. Feel like you're going to pull the hands apart. Inhale, come forward to your plank pose. And then exhale, go back, downward facing dog. We're going to step our right foot forward towards the hands. So however you get the right foot forward, do so. Grab your blocks, bring them underneath the hands here, and come up to the very tips of those fingers, extending that chest forward in space. All right, once you feel you got a good line from the crown of the head to the left heel, you're going to bring your right hand on the outside of the right leg, left hand on the left hip. And your right leg's gonna stay exactly where it is, but you're gonna push the right leg and right hand into one another to pull the left hip up towards the ceiling, like you're opening a book. And then you're gonna drop that left hip towards the floor. And I like the left hand on the left hip just to help guide that rotation, right? You'll pull the left hip back, and then you can use your left hand to encourage that left hip to come forward. So really the work is happening in that right hip joint, right? Watch out for coming all the way up. When you come all the way up, you lose some of the good rotation work that we're looking for here. All right, let's bring the hands to the blocks, pull the hips back in space, rock to the heel, and then send everything forward in space. Maybe drop the back knee down. Let's just do that one more time. Draw the hips back and send everything forward. From here, you're just gonna switch sides. So as you go to lift the hips, you can step the right foot back, left foot forward, come into your lunge position, up on the tips of the fingers, out through the crown of the head. You're gonna bring your left hand on the outside of the left leg, right hand on the right hip, same thing. The left leg and left hand are pushing into one another just to create that stability of the left thigh not moving as you pull the right hip back, and then you wrap the right hip down. You don't have to go fast. You don't have to do a lot of these, 3, 4 maybe, right, as you rotate. And we're moving from that left hip joint on the side, but notice the torso also moves here. The next time that right hip's dropping down, let's bring the hands to the blocks, pull the hips back in space, maybe rock to the heel, and then send everything forward in space, drop the back knee down, sink in, that's okay. Pull everything back, send everything forward. All right, this time when you pull back, let's set the blocks off to the side and step back, downward facing dog. Breathe in here and breathe out. We're gonna walk our hands all the way back towards our feet to the back of the mat. And you're gonna grab a resistance band on your way there and place it on your feet. All right, it's going on the feet, so it can be one of the bands with less tension. And then you're gonna make sure those feet have some space between them so you can feel the band pull. Bend the knees, so we'll anchor down into the heels and slowly roll your way up to stand. Once standing, inhale, sweep your arms. You can go out and up or forward and up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs, drop the head and hands. Inhale, walk forward to a plank position, all the way to plank pose. And then exhale, lower down to the ground. You can do this from your toes or your knees. Inhale, cobra pose. Adjust hands forward if you feel like you're getting jammed up in the shoulders. Release from cobra pose, tuck the toes, and make your way back, downward facing dog. Now this is where you might want to set a blanket up underneath you for your knees. We're going to come forward to your plank position. You're going to pull that left knee forward and under the left hip joint. So make sure you're getting that hip flexion, okay? Now, right hand's going to stay down, and the left hand's going to come to that left hip. And you're just going to encourage that left hip back, similar to when you were rotating the pelvis and guiding the pelvis with the hand. You're going to exhale, lift the right leg into the air, take the right toes off to the right, tap them down, lift the right leg in the air, bring it back to center. You're tracing a rainbow, right? And you're using that left hand on the left hip to gauge whether you're shifting all your weight over to the left, right? Or if you're going to the right, plus taking that left hand off the floor really forces you to work that oblique chain from the right shoulder all the way to the left hip. You got 3 more. Tap to the right, keep breathing, to the right, keep that right leg straight, last one, and back to center. Put the left hand down, simply slide the left leg back to plank, pull the right knee forward. Again, you gotta get that hip flexion to put the right knee under the right hip joint. Put the right hand on the right hip, and that right hand's just gonna keep guiding that right hip back in place. As you exhale, lift the left leg and move the left leg to the left, and then lift it, bring it back to center. And you're tracing the rainbow, trying to keep that left pinky toe to the floor. And we want to keep that left leg straight, so we're using the glute and the hamstring together. Right? And we also want to monitor that we're moving from the hip and not the low back. And you got 4 more here, and back. You got 3, and back, 2, and back. Last one, and back. Put the right hand down, slide the right foot back to plank. Go back, downward facing dog. Breathe in here and breathe out. And from here, we're going to walk the hands back towards the feet once again. This time, we're going to move that band from the feet up to the knees. And then once you got it on the knees, just go above the knee joints there and bend and come into a chair position. Chair pose. All right. So the band's higher, it's not on the feet or the ankles. You're pushing out into that band. Watch that you're not rolling out on those ankles. Right, think about squeezing a block between the heels. And maybe try lifting the heels and lowering. I find this one tricky. Lift the heels and lower. Lift and lower. Cinch the hip points together and lower. Think rib cage in line with the pelvis and lower. Last one and lower. Go ahead, fold forward over the legs. Putter out the lips if that works for you. Shake out the head. You're going to walk forward to a plank pose. Now you can hold your plank position or exhale, lower down through a push-up of your choice. Inhale through a back bend of your choice. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Breathe in here and breathe out. Now I know the band's on the legs, but you can simply walk your feet forward to the top of the mat and then bend the knees and take your time as you roll your way up to stand. Bring the hands to the hips once you're standing. Step the left leg back about less than a lunge, but more than the kickstand squat. All right, so you're gonna step that left foot back about maybe 15 inches. And then bend both knees. So it's like you're trying to drop your hips straight down to the floor. Now with both knees bent and the pelvis dropping straight down, so no hinging on this one, you're gonna wrap that left hip forward and then pull that left hip back. Yep, and wrap it forward and pull it back. Very similar to what we did when we were in the loaded lunge. Yep, but now we have that band against that front leg to kind of help give us that feedback if that knee is getting pulled with us. Right, a few more, pull back and forward and back and forward. Last one, back and forward. Step your left foot forward, switch sides. So now you're gonna step your right foot back and out face. Okay, and then again, it's dropping the pelvis straight down. You're gonna rotate that right hip forward and then pull it back, left leg pushing off. Wrap forward and back and forward. I know the quads feel this one a little bit, the front of the thighs. Forward and back, forward and back. It's really good. That's rotation. It's good, good, good work for our hips and in turn for our pelvic floor. Last two, last one, step forward. All right, let's go ahead, ditch that band, set it off to the side, see if your legs feel like they're free. All right, finding mountain pose, bend the knees, come into chair pose. All right, from here, shift the weight into the right leg, step the left foot back, high lunge pose. Let's take our arms out to a T here or cactus shape, whatever you're comfortable with. Breathe in here and breathe out. We're gonna go ahead, load our lunge, sweeping the arms back to the back of the mat. And if you'd like, put your right hand on the outside of the right leg as you spin open into extended side angle. So that left heel goes down. I usually have to adjust my right foot. And then you can reach that left arm alongside the left ear here. Breathe in and breathe out. On your next inhale, come all the way up to stand, straighten the right leg. Bring your hands to your hips, rotate the right leg in. Put a little fold here at the hips. You can put a bend in the knees, but keep your hands off the floor. You're gonna bend the left knee, go a little to the left. Bend the right knee, go a little to the right. Again, left knee and go to the left. And right knee, go to the right. One more time to the left. And one more time to the right. You're gonna turn the right toes forward. Keep your hands off the floor. It's a little tricky. See if you can get that back heel off the floor so you're back in a loaded lunge. And then simply step the left foot forward, chair pose. Step the right foot back, high lunge. Again, you can reach your arms out to a T. All right, you can cactus the arms. And just breathe in here. And breathe out. Take another breath in here. And another breath out. All right, from here, you're going to lean forward, reaching the arms towards the back of the mat. So we're loading the lunge. Right, and like you've got that band on the thighs, you're gonna open up into extended side angle. Once the right heel gets down, adjust your left foot. Left arm can come to the thigh. Right arm alongside the right ear. Think about squeezing a block between those inner heels. Breathe in here and breathe out. All right, once again, you're gonna come all the way up to stand. All right, bring the hands to the hips. Rotate the left leg in. Again, keep the hands off the floor. Bend the knees and hinge forward a bit. And then bend the left knee, bend the right knee. If you wanna reach your arms off to the sides as you go to the right, and then back to the left. One more time to the right, and one more time to the left. You're gonna turn the left toes forward, spin the back heel up. Find that lunge. Step the right foot forward and fold into the legs. Shake it out, putter out the lips. Breathe in, breathe out. From here, you can make your way back, downward facing dog. Jumping, hopping, skipping, stepping. You want to go through a vinyasa, go through vinyasa. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Inhale, come forward to a plank pose. Let's bring that right knee down to the ground. Spin the left heel up. Sweep that left arm all the way up towards the ceiling and then all the way alongside the left ear. Breathe in and breathe out. You're going to look down, release that left hand back down to the floor. Spin the left heel up, reach the right arm off to the right and the left leg into the air. Remember what it was like when you had that band on the feet and you had to pull the feet apart. Breathe in here and breathe out. And from here, release the right hand down. Swing the left foot forward, come into kneeling lunge. Placing the hands behind the head, lean the head back. Draw the ribs back if the pelvis wants to go forward. Breathe in and breathe out. Pull the hips back in space. Simply release the hands down. This is a good place to grab the blocks. Right, blocks under hands, tuck the right toes, straighten out the right leg. Right, the block under the right hand is going to come closer to the inner edge of the left foot and move forward in space. And then you're going to sweep that left arm back and come into a revolved lunge pose. Breathe in, and you can reach the left arm alongside the left ear, and breathe out. Go ahead, release the left hand down, set the blocks off to the side, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to your plank pose. Exhale the left knee down. You've already done all this good hip rotation. Lift that right hip up as the right heel goes to the floor. Sweep the right arm backwards all the way up towards the ceiling, and then alongside the right ear for this side stretch. Look down to the floor. Release the right hand down. Spin the right heel up. Reach the left arm off to the left. Like you're peeling those feet apart with the band. Lift the right leg into the air. Just stay. Breathe in and breathe out. The left hand is going to come down. You'll swing the right foot forward. You'll reach the arms up. Come into that kneeling lunge. All right, again, lay the head back into the hand. So we can relax the neck. Right, we might be able to access the abdominal muscles a bit more. Pull the rib cage back. Breathe in. And breathe out. From here, reach the arms up. The hands are going to come down. Again, blocks under the hands are a lovely thing here. And tuck the left toes, straighten out the left leg. The block in the left hand is going to come to the inner edge of the right foot and then move forward in space. And you can reach the right arm back as you take your rotation for a lunge twist. Breathe in and breathe out. If you want to reach the arm alongside the ear, go for it. Look down, hands down to the blocks. Use the blocks this time on a stable height and step back, downward facing dog. Breathe in here. And breathe out. From here, you can lift the heels, bend the knees. You can jump through to sit or just step down to sit. All right, set the blocks somewhere off to the sides here. Okay, and then you're going to roll your way down. If you want to squeeze the block between the inner thighs, you can do that. Or if you had a Pilates ball, you could do that. That's fine. All right, but keep those heels pretty much in line with your sits bones. So watch if they don't go wider than that. So whatever you use to squeeze, make sure you can get those heels close together. Reach the arms forward as you exhale, squeeze. You're just going to take a nice slow roll down. Take your time. Like it's 96 degrees outside, maybe 86 degrees inside. Go slow, 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 slow. And then once you're down, you can stretch. You can stretch the arms overhead. You can stretch the legs. And you can just move the block off to the side unless you prefer having that block between your feet. So feet flat on the floor, arms up into the air. You're going to exhale, press the feet down to lift the hips up and think about sending the knees in the direction of the toes. Inhale, reach the arms overhead to the wall behind you. See if that gets you a little bit more weight distribution. And then exhale, roll down through the back and lift the arms back up towards the ceiling. Take a breath in. Exhale, press the feet down to lift the hips up. Inhale, reach the arms overhead towards the wall behind you. Exhale, roll down through the back and let the arms come back to the ceiling as you breathe in. Exhale, press the feet down. Notice if you're sliding backwards, keep pulling yourself towards the feet to reach the arms overhead. Roll down through the back. Lift the arms towards the ceiling and then let the arms come out to the sides. And from here, just do a little drop of your knees from side to side. Right, here's a good place if you want to grab your blanket or your blocks and place that underneath your head. You can go ahead and do that. Give a little bit of lift there. Breathe in, breathe out. You're going to heel toe your feet together. So you've got zippered up the inside line of the legs. Cross the right leg over the left leg, eagle legs, and drop the knees over to the right. And you can use a block under your legs here as you're looking to reach to the left. So notice if you feel like you're doing a big archy arch in the lower back. Think about zippering up the pubic bone, tucking the tailbone. So posturally tilt that pelvis. And then try and pull the left side rib cage back over to the left. Breathe in here and breathe out. You're going to unwind out of that twist and take it to the other side. So keep the right leg on top, but just drop your knees over to the left. And this might be where you actually need more prop support under the legs for this rotation. See if you can keep that right shoulder weighted to the ground. Breathe in here and breathe out. Come back to center. Now go ahead, uncross the legs. Switch sides. So the left leg's going to cross over the right. You're going to zipper up and drop your knees over to the left first. So I know you just came from that direction with the legs, but it is different with the left leg on top versus the right. So again, notice if you feel like you're doing a major arch in the low back and you find some abdominal engagement here. So even here, on a super subtle level, that core can be activated. Breathe in and breathe out. You'll come back to center. Keep the legs crossed, and now you'll drop your knees over to the right. So again, this might be where you need the leg support so the block could go under the legs on the right side as you rotate the shoulder girdle to the left. Breathe in here, and breathe out. Take another breath in, and exhale. And then come back to center, right? Uncross the legs. You want to do a little drop of the knees from side to side, right? You can also set up with the bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the side. If that feels a little uncomfortable in the lower back, you could try placing a block underneath your feet and see if that, by elevating the feet, it feels less strenuous in the low back, right? Close the eyes, relax the arms, take a breath in here. And a breath out for 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. Breathe in. Breathe out for 3. Inhale. Exhale for 4. Breathe in. Breathe out for 5. If the knees have been out to the side, draw those legs together. You can hug the knees in towards the chest here. Do a little rock from side to side. And think about keeping the belly relaxed, the hip flexors relaxed. You want to stretch one leg to the floor. Just make sure that block, if you were on the block, is out of the way, stretching one leg at a time. Breathing in and breathing out. And from here, when you're ready, you'll make your transition from that final rest up to sit. So at this point, maybe you want to grab that blanket that was under your head to sit on. Maybe you prefer sitting on the blocks. Maybe you just want to sit up and stare at the wall because you're just in a nice space. Wherever you are, meet yourself there with kindness and compassion, the way you would meet your best friend. And when placing the hands where you'd like them this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, take a deep breath in. Exhale, drop the chin to the chest, bow the mind to the heart, and fold forward, honoring your practice and your willingness to meet yourself where you're at. Thank you so much for being here and practicing. I hope you enjoyed. Please reach out with any questions.